our school, who is a wonderful principal, and we are very thankful to him. So can you please say a good morning to Mr. Curtis?
Good morning, Mr. Curtis, God bless you.
Good morning, students, and God bless you. And thank you for that lovely introduction, Mr. Cooper. And hello, Mrs. Hines.
Hello, how are you?
So, students, I was honoured. You know, Mr. Cooper was talking about that. It's an honour for me, but also I was honoured by your letters, and I love the way that you obviously took a lot of care and a lot of attention, and you put a lot of thought into what you were doing. And I thought that some of the points that you raised were really good, and I also thought that some of the points that you raised needed some further clarification, because if there were some misunderstandings about what might be happening around the place, it'd be good to clear those up. But you'll also notice who here, you wouldn't have got the newsletter yet, but the newsletter's coming out this afternoon, and your class actually features. So I've actually said this. Jonathan Cooper has recently been teaching his Year 4 class the art of persuasive writing. Students have been taught to see a need and then address it by stating facts and providing survey and interview results to back up their positions. The results were 17 well-crafted letters on my desk last Friday afternoon. The topics were many and varied, as you can expect, but perhaps the most passionate submissions were to banish school uniforms. Yes, there was a lot of passion about that one. And then I go on to say, but there are, the Year 4 students did such a good job, etc., etc. At GCC, every decision that we make has a logical and intentional rationale behind it. So when the challenge came about, why we have uniforms, it was a good opportunity for us to revisit and think through once again the whys and wherefores of this decision. So we actually, in our management meeting, so I meet with Mrs. Mitchell, I meet with Mr. Hayworth, who is the head of the senior school, and I meet with Mrs. Vreeling, who is the head of the middle school. And we talked about this at our meeting, and we said, why do we have uniforms, and what's the importance of uniforms, and that kind of thing. So by doing that, it was just really important to clarify, and we were talking about all manner of implications about uniform. So it was obviously your letters really brought about that discussion. So I actually have an article about 7 reasons why we have school uniform. So I'm not going to spend, unfortunately for you guys who didn't want the uniform, I'm afraid the uniform's here to stay. But I look in my article, and so I'll encourage you students to read the article and familiarise yourself with those 7 results. But there were some other things. So there was some mention about the toilets. Yes. Well, I have good news for you. I have great news for you. Because over the holidays, we're actually taking those toilets out and we're replacing them. Now, I can't say that your letters really did that, because we recognise too that those toilets are not where they need to be. And so over the September holidays though, you'll see whole new building, whole thing, new veranda. Okay, so those toilets will be replaced over the holidays. So I could say that I wholeheartedly agreed with your letters, but I did agree with them even before they were written. Okay?
Would it be where over there that big building got taken down, the little one, where it's used to worship?
Well, you can see where all the trees, just around the current toilets, you can see where all the trees have been taken out, okay? And that's to make room for the new toilets. So it'll be going right there. Just the usual place, so you won't need to go anywhere different. It'll be the same location. It'll just be better, more modern toilets. So that'll be very good. Then there were some others. Swimming pool. So, some people. That's Mr. Cooper's
Yes, it
idea.
was.
He's disavowing that. He's saying he's got nothing to do with that. I don't believe Mr. Cooper lies, but anyway. So about the swimming pool, it was interesting because there were some fors and some against as far as the swimming pool goes. Guys, I just think with a swimming pool so close by, it is going to be very difficult, at least in the near future, to see a need for a swimming pool here at the college, because if you just walk over the road, there is a perfectly functioning swimming pool. And you notice that a lot of schools, if they build a swimming pool and they have a swimming pool on their campus, that they also open it up to the public and they use it like a public swimming pool. And the way that's because those constructions are very expensive, and so they just have to do that to recoup their costs. So that will be pretty hard, running in direct competition with a swimming pool directly over the road, so it'll just be a bit tricky. So thank you for your submissions about that, both for and against, but that's not going to happen in the near future. Football posts, who mentioned that one? Okay, that's great, and thank you for that, because we are going to install multifunctional posts over there. So there's going to be football posts and soccer posts. So we'll be able to play soccer, be able to play football as well without too much difficulty. So that'll be coming very soon as well. Okay. In fact, we just had a meeting with the P&F, and the P&F were really excited about the idea as well. So again, your guys' letters did put that on the agenda, on the table, and so we were able to talk with our parent organisation, and they're very excited about that too. Okay, we'll just wait for questions at the end. Blue fence. So the blue fence around the current kind of, that, just that sort of table. Pardon? Yeah, near the toilets, which we're going to replace. But, so those around there, now there are plans to do something there. I think the idea of a hedge there was a really great idea, rather than an unattractive, no one likes that blue fence, but unfortunately we need it there, because you remember that we had the last fence and people just walked straight through that. Okay, so we had to put something stronger up there, because that slope is quite dangerous and people were falling over and that. So unfortunately it's not going to be a short-term fix, but we are going to fix it. But it's just a bit of a problem at the moment, but be patient with that. More water bubblers and on the new oval. Great idea. So we're going to support that as well. Again, this was something we were already thinking about, but that's certainly something that's going to be coming in the next term as well. So that's going to be great too. And so that takes us up to the school uniform, where there was quite a lot of people about school uniform. So you'll just have to wait for the newsletter article this afternoon. Okay? Any questions?
What are you going to do with that? Do you know? What are you going to do with that building that got crushed down over there?
It's gone. To the dump, to the dump, to the dump, dump, dump. Yes. So the company that we're dealing with for building the new one has actually taken that away, and they've taken off a bit of the price for the new one, because they've taken that away. So whatever they do with that, they might remodel it or something, but we've effectively sold it to them.
Can we move footy posts and soccer posts over on that oval as well?
Yeah, the footy posts and that, yeah, we'll certainly have a look at that as well. That's a good idea. Yep.
What are you going to do with all the space on where the buildings got taken away, and there was the vacation building, and there was all things that were taken away?
Taken away or repurposed? What do you mean by taking it?
Taking the buildings away from the area.
The old Chappie building.
The old Y block.
Oh, the old Y block. Yeah, well remember that building. So with these buildings that look, obviously they look kind of temporary, and you can put them down and then take them away. They're called demountables or temporary buildings. And we actually don't own those, we hire them. You know what the difference is between owning and hiring? Okay? So when you hire something, pay the money, but it's going to be for a short term because then you give them back. And that's what happened with Y Block. So we didn't own Y Block because, because for a start, we're not allowed to actually have a lot of those demountables that we own there.
There was Pastor Josh's building where there was praise kids, I think, and then there was the vacation care building, I'm sure.
But you know where vacation care is now?
Yeah. It's in the old music room.
Yeah, and it's in vacation care, I talked to them, and they're very happy with their space.
Did they change the old vacation care into a working space?
Yeah, correct. So, yeah, that's where the honours program happens now, and where some other classes in the secondary school happen, in the middle and senior. So don't forget, where are the pastors now? Where are the chappies? Remember, we call them the pastors. Where are they now? Yeah, they're in the old music room, in the old middle and senior music room. And now that's available, obviously, for primary as well, for everyone. So where the theatre was, which, and the theatre still is, so just on the other side of that.
How about where the small oval, right there, how about we put concrete on top of that and then we put a railing around it so it's like an extra space of concrete and stuff.
For like maybe another lot of handball courts or something like that.
Yeah.
Aren't you guys sick of concrete?
No, I'm not sick of concrete. I don't like grass.
You're sick of grass.
Me too.
Oh, I like grass. Grass is nice and green. It's itchy.
Wonderful.
But what we're looking at doing is creating a new play space there. But you're going to have to trust me, that play space is going to take a little bit of time to get right, and that's why we don't have a short-term solution for the slope at the moment. We're looking more long-term. We want to do this properly, and we want it to be a really lovely area for you guys so that you can have lunch there out in the sun. It'll be a really nice place.
Hey, gang, where are the bushes go?
Whereabouts?
Over there, where the old toilets are.
Where the old toilets are?
Yeah, that's what it's down.
Well, we want to try and get rid of as few trees and bushes as possible. So we want to try and keep as much of the plant life there as we can.
Oliver, you can have the last question because Reggie's going to come.
Yes, Oliver.
Are you going to do anything with the toilets in the big undercover area?
No, they're fine.
Now, the toilets in the big undercover area, yes, we will. That will be a much more expensive operation, so it won't be happening. It won't be happening this year at all. I mean, they're still okay. They're still pretty good, and they're. But we realised that they could be a more attractive area. Unfortunately, when we first built those colours were kind of in for toilets at the time, and now the fashion has changed, and so we want to keep up to date with that. So that's definitely on our agenda, but it might not be for a little while yet. Okay.
Mr. Curtis, thank you for your time. It's very precious
Thank
to
you,
listen
Mr.
to you.
Curtis.
So, Luther would like to say something on behalf of our class.
Thank you for answering our letters.
Wonderful. Can you please give
Thank
Mr.
you,
Curtis a
Luther.
big clap?